So this evening we're taking an affectionate look through my sports file column at a piece of Northern New Brunswick history I was very fortunate to live through. Now, in the mid and late 1970s, in many Restigouche East communities, road hockey games were quite popular. Now, for those who've never played road hockey before, back in the day when there was no paved roads like our community was up until 1975, teams would get together using piles of snow as goalposts and hockey pucks, and later on Cooper orange hockey balls, to play a version of shinny that basically was passed down from generation to generation. Now, in Gravel Hill at the time, the majority of the population, more than 80%, were under the age of 20, and many families had large amount of young girls and young men who enjoyed road hockey. In some cases, upwards of 10 to 15 children through the decades. Now, how it worked back in the day, we would play a lot on weekends, but when we got home from school around 3:20, we would play all until it was dark. And because we didn't have many plows, we would design the best, two nets we could from packed snow, make it like 6 feet, the length of a hockey stick, and start. Now, because I was a little pudgy back then and not too swift, I played in the net quite a bit, and I had the Ken Dryden style of save mechanism. Every time Kenny made a save, he would rest these pads on his stick. Now, what was funny back then, we made our own rules. Now, we wouldn't hit anybody or slash anybody, no slapping within 5 feet of the nets. And we would rarely throw people in the snowbank, because in the March and April weather, when the snow was starting to melt, it could be very wet and very dangerous for pneumonia. Now, what was kind of weird, during the cold months we would play quite often. Sometimes two parts of our Gravel Hill Road would have road hockey games going on. But it was a catch-22, because the Cooper hockey balls we bought, and sometimes weren't even Cooper hockey balls, they were like the no-name version, they would freeze or bleed, which meant that if the ball was completely frozen, it would hit you like literally a piece of ice, and if it was unfrozen, it will leave almost like an orange stain, like the color of Tang. If everybody remembers that great drink from the that was invented during the Apollo astronaut era. What's kind of weird about this is that anybody who's played road hockey in Gravel Hill, Lorne, on the Nash Creek rink, a very famous local rink we all used to play shinny and broomball, it kind of developed who we are as people. Participation, family values, all kind of post-event bragging, hockey card trading. Now, we would play many sports in the summer: scrub, softball, football, soccer if we had it. But road hockey, it's been 40 years since we had the last great era of the Gravel Hill Road Hockey League. And what's ironic about this, the new generation, who are now parents now, don't play road hockey. It's not something that people really really get into, because beautiful rinks and stuff. But imagine this: you're 12, 13, 14 years of age, you're in middle school or high school, and you come home, you'll have a bad day at school, but if you made that big save in the net like my friends did, my cousin Oakley, now passed, the Levine brothers, some of the Hickeys, some of the Burtons, all these different family members, the Coreys, many Lapointes, you made a big save or scored a big goal, everything of a bad day at school, or in some cases, because some of the kids did work and quite young, a bad day at work would fade away. And the only rule was to have fun. And in 2018, I would recommend any person that takes up road hockey, or rink hockey sometimes in the mini rinks, to just go out there and have fun. Because hockey is all about community, having fun. But we were very poor growing up in Gravel Hill. We didn't know how poor we were until we started making money, and we said, this is what we've been living on for years. So for all my family in Gravel Hill, or Rock Vegas as we call it, because it was nicknamed after the Fred Flintstone fictional version of Las Vegas, because my dad used to look like Fred Flintstone, so it was unofficially named after him. Just remember that if you go to Gravel Hill in the middle of a December afternoon or night, the ghosts of the Gravel Hill road hockey players are still there, and we're still playing by that one street light, no pun intended, like Réjean Houle or Guy Lafleur used to say. And we were taught that we were kings of the ice. And no paved road, no money in our pocket, but we're golden in road hockey. Hope this finds you well. As we say in the Gravel Hill Road Hockey League, keep your stick in the ice. Bye.